Good evening, guys. I wanted to come by real quick and talk to you guys about spiritual curses. Can they ruin your relationships with people? Yes, they can. They absolutely can. I've seen it happen over and over again. This is actually requested by a fan. So I wanted to come on here and talk about this because I think that this should be talked about. Um, the most common generational, and then there's also curses that are attached to certain people. Certain people are cursed when it comes to relationships with people. Typically, the number ones that I've seen is either by parents or by exes. Okay. And they have different reasons for destroying and tearing down your relationships. Okay. It just depends on who you are. But yeah, a spiritual curse can and will destroy your relationship. Some of them are pretty bad too. Some of them, it's kind of like a spring. You know, once somebody has cursed your relationship, then when you do come together, it's kind of like the energy can be really, really toxic. Okay. This is what I want to say. You can try to fix the situation, but a lot of times it's really not good to try to hold on to relationships that have been destroyed by a spiritual curse. It's going to make you miserable. It's going to make that other person miserable, and you're going to be extremely unhappy. Now, I think that what is a part of spiritual curses is society. People are really, really sensitive to what people are going to think of them. I know for a fact there's a lot of people that say there's a lot of people that have married the wrong person, and it's because it was who everyone else approved of, but it wasn't who they were supposed to be with, unfortunately. So I do, and I have done breakup spells, and they do work. Okay. But I kind of feel as though if you have not taken the necessary steps to protect your relationship, and it has to come from both sides. I think that when you have a strong relationship and a strong connection, that no spiritual curse should be able to destroy your relationship. But there are some, like I said, there are some people on the situation. They'll stay on it. They'll stay on it. They'll stay on it. And whenever you have that kind of situation going on, it's important for both people to recognize that and stay away from that negativity. Otherwise, spiritual curses and people in general are going to be able to break up your relationship. Now, I'm going to show you guys this wiki article that I noticed. Most of the time, it's you'd have to be a really skilled practitioner to do a breakup spell. Most of the time, people that break people up, they do it. It's very covert, and they have tactics. Okay, so there was actually this wiki article that I saw, and there's actually steps to breaking up a couple. Okay, first of all, you plant seeds of mistrust. Okay, though you may not think there's anything objectionable about breaking up the person you like in his or her significant other, so both of you will be happier. The world may not see it that way. Also, mature and intelligent couples can see your motives clearly and easily, especially if you have exhibited any jealousy to one of the partners, claim to be a close friend or an ex-girlfriend or boyfriend. So, you know, when somebody comes to you and says, oh, I know something about this person, I'm going to tell you something about them. This is called planting a seed of mistrust. That's the first thing you have to do, is tear down the trust. Step 2, become the confidant of the person. Okay, so you start to listen to them. You weasel your way in there. You let the person open up about the flaws in the relationship. So this is when you get the person to talk about the person that they're with. Play the devil's advocate. Once the person starts revealing the flaws and all of the problems, they'll say things like, you deserve so much better than that. And there's steps to doing it. And then also you have to go even further. It looks like they added some stuff. They added a part 2, making the breakup inevitable. Okay. And this is when you have to be the person you like. Be the person that the person you like is looking for in a relationship, even if you're being manipulative, even if you're faking it. Okay, make yourself more present, exploit the couple's weaknesses. Okay, try to separate the members of the couple. All right. Butter up friends, butter up the friends of the person you want to be with. So this is when you go after their friends. And yeah, it's like actually several steps that you can take to break up a couple. So it doesn't have to just be spiritually. These things can be done just by gossiping. And there is a very covert operation that this can be done. Now, I personally feel, again, just like the article says, that if the relationship is meant to last, if it's meant to work out, it is going to regardless. When I read that article, I was like, wow. But you notice that people do that. So you don't even need, break up candles or whatever. You can just be really good at manipulating the couple. And yeah, it can and will destroy your relationship. And I think the main thing that people do is they make people believe that that person is bad for them. They make people believe, and trust me, it's been done to me. Okay, it's been done to me, and it's been done with people that I've dated. And if the relationship is not strong, or if it has any kind of weaknesses, yeah, it can definitely break it up. I think that you can reunite, but I think it's only if a person wants it. It can't be one-sided. So there was actually an article that I shared on my Facebook, okay, which is signs that you know what? I don't want to hear that somebody wants me. Somebody wants to screw me, okay? I want to hear that I mean a lot to him. That's what I want to hear, okay? So there's actually signs that he means that you mean a lot to him. And for me, I take issue with a person claiming that they broke up with this person because somebody said this or that. That's really no excuse. Everybody makes mistakes throughout life. Everybody has shortcomings. Nobody's perfect. Everybody has their days when they don't look as cute. But that should not cause you to want to break up with a person. If you really love that person, you're not going to break up with them. You know what I'm saying? So spiritual curses, going back to that, because I just want to let you know that some people do it in more of a practical way. Okay. Now, spiritual curses can absolutely destroy your relationship. I actually offer breakup bottles and jars for people. And I have my own little specific recipe that I use for my breakup jars. It usually involves, just to give you a preview, defecation, so poop, sometimes cat and dog hair, nails, broken glass, pictures of the people. So yeah, a spiritual curse can destroy your relationship. Now, there are some curses that you can do. There's one that I know is pretty popular. You use an old fish, you use old rotten meat, you can put their pictures in there, and it'll literally rot the relationship from the inside out. So yeah, absolutely, spiritual curses can destroy your relationship. However, if there's a connection, if there's a real connection, you know, you're gonna possibly still feel that energy between the two of you, even though you're broke up, even though the relationship has been cursed. This is why a lot of people don't talk about their relationships. I would not dare come on here and reveal the identity of anybody that I am dealing with. Okay, just because people are really malignant and they just want to tear people down. And that's the whole point of marriage. That's the whole point of hand fasting. That's the whole point of binding somebody to you. And you can bind somebody to you and the problems are still going to be there. Okay. So when somebody does that, you can tell because it does create problems within the relationship. It usually causes people to start arguing, causes people to go, you know, all out, just go all out. Yeah, how are you? Sorry, I'm not on camera, guys. I need to wash my hair, and I'm just not feeling like being on camera. So, coming by. I know for a fact that you can actually reverse curses on your relationship. But if you're having problems long term, if you're doing the work required that you know will work to fix the situation, then you got to look at the signs of maybe it's just not meant to be. You know what I'm saying? You've got to look at those signs because and I truly, truly, you know, my heart goes out to people that they just want love. They just want to be loved. They want to love other people. They want a family, you know, and then you got some evil person that's going around trying to tear you down and destroy you. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty difficult. I think that a couple would have to be extremely strong. Now, early on in a relationship, early on when you first meet somebody and I'm sorry, sometimes the relationship is just doomed. You can't necessarily hold on to it, especially if the other person is not making the effort to work it out. You can recognize when somebody's under spiritual manipulation, and you can also recognize when somebody's under societal's manipulation or whatever. So a lot of times people will people can be really difficult when they don't want a couple to be together. Yeah, they, you know, and it's not just spiritually cursing the relationship. Like you know, you've got to really, really, now some spiritual curses do not work on people. Okay. The relationship is still there. There's still the connection. There's just a bunch of fucking problems. So that's when you have to bring a bunch of people as witness to testify and lie against the person. And, you know, somebody that is actually powerful powerful in their spiritual work, and they wouldn't need to come online and say anything. They would just be able to do their breakup work and they wouldn't have to say nothing. So, do I feel that these kind of relationships can make it? I feel like they could if you make the choice for it to work out. If you're not wanting it to work out, because I've noticed spiritual curses affecting one party more than the other. So I told you guys that every month I was sensing breakup spell work being done since I moved to Georgia. Just literally out of the blue. I remember I would just sit there and just get extremely angry. Okay, at the person that I was trying to be involved with, and you could tell. So I'm really good at discerning that. It will just come out of the blue, just anger for no reason. So that's one of the symptoms. If you're just sitting there, that person really hasn't done anything to you, and then you're just angry at them out of the blue. And then you make them react. And then the next thing you know, you're fighting back and forth. So that can actually happen. I've seen it happen lots of times. I think you have to sometimes remind that person that they are under demonic influence. A person that is in denial about that, it's harder because a lot of people are not spiritually, they're not spiritually, taught about that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? But for me, I can tell when somebody's under a demonic influence or whatever, but they have to stay away from that demonic influence. So, the work, you can do the work to do it, but that other person has to do the work also. I've actually gotten back together a lot of couples that were broke up. There's a thing that I do called a relationship cleanse. And, you can do that. And it may or may not work. It just depends on the person that has casted it, and it depends on the person that you're dealing with. Because if a person is totally overtaken by some kind of spiritual curse, then it's kind of difficult, And one main example of that, which is kind of a horrifying example, is the movie. What's the name of this movie, guys? Oh my goodness, I think we're gonna watch it when I'm done with this. Ty, what's the name of that movie with Ronnie DeFeo? I can't think of the name of it. Oh my goodness, I don't know why I can't think of the name of that movie where that man. It's right on the tip of my tongue. It is right on the tip of my tongue. Oh my goodness. Anyways, the movie about the family, they move into this house. They're perfectly normal before they move into the house. And then all of a sudden they move in and it's like the house was owned and it was on an Indian burial ground. And this man just went nuts and wanted to kill his whole family. But as soon as she got him away from the house, he returned to normal. And she kind of could see like the pattern, like when they went out to dinner, she could see that, hey, Champagne, she could see that he was different. He was better when he was away from the house. But then as soon as they would go back to the house, he would just start going nuts. I don't know why I can't think of the name of that freaking movie right now. It's going to come to me. Can a parent be involved or an influence? Yeah, absolutely. Your parents are always trying to choose the person that you're with. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you can actually, like I know for a fact that especially if you have a family of witches, for example, the movie Practical Magic, that brings out like they knew that they were cursed. They knew that their family was under a generational curse. But then they did a love spell for her and her husband, and he actually died. You know what I'm saying? He died because of that curse. She was really upset because she didn't want to send nobody through that. That's why she was so lonely. That's why she didn't deal with anybody. She was just like, I'm going to keep to myself because I know that we have this spiritual curse on our family. So going through the loss of her husband, fine. And that's why people should be careful when they're when they're interfering with relationships, you know? So yeah, absolutely. I can tell you this, that I don't know what it was. It seemed like, it seems like most of the lovers that I have had, it seemed like they were connected. And it was really funny because I truly believe that these men really fell in love with me. You know what I'm saying? Like they came to me for, just to whatever, but I feel like they actually caught feelings. You know what I'm saying? So that can be difficult, especially if they have that kind of that association. And it does depend on your family. It does. Like, I'm being honest with you. I would have never ever, like, okay, first of all, you need to, I believe that, first of all, this is the reason why you don't introduce people to your family too early. This is the reason why. You need to be together for at least 6 months to a year or longer, and then you introduce to the family. Because you gotta, and the reason why I say that is because that's going to give you time to fall in love and to actually go deep into the love portion of your relationship. You can form that bond. But a lot of people, they want to introduce people very, very early on. And I think that that's a mistake. And that's when you have to trust in yourself. I trust in myself. I've made bad decisions on lovers in the past, but when it's something that I know is meant to be, if it's something that I know is going to work out, if I know I'm going to make this man happy, if I know he's going to make me happy, then, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to stick with that situation. But I mean, that's why I said I think that you should take it slower. In the beginning, you shouldn't be trying to be introduced to anybody in the family. Sometimes people can have a bunch of embarrassing stuff going on in their family. And that's unfair for people to judge them just because of family members. So this is why, for me, I would have probably never introduced my lovers to the family, not anybody recent. And the reason why is because they have a tendency to want to tear apart the relationship, not just your parents, but your cousins, your sisters. I know for a fact that there are a lot of people that don't, like, especially if you got a brother or a sister, and they always hating on your relationships and stuff. That's a sign, and you can't play around with that, because you know what? And you know what, guys? I've had people tell me I'm old, I'm ugly, it's over for me. No man is going to ever want me. But guess what? You know what? Hey, but guess what? I'm here to minister to you guys so that you don't have to waste your whole life. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to waste your whole life dealing with that. I'm coming at you with a warning. Take it seriously. Okay? You may think it's cute that it's all this drama and you're in your 20s and you're in your 30s, but one day you're going to wake up and realize that they've done you a disservice, and you're going to realize that you could have been much more stable. I think that when a parent destroys relationships, especially good relationships, this is a parent that is trying to destroy the stability in their child's life. So if you've experienced that, that's crazy. You need to come upstairs. Upstairs, buddy. Come on. It's getting late too. You need to go to sleep. Come on, Bubsies. So, I know that there's a lot of people that will purposely try to prevent their sisters, their cousins from having a decent relationship. And they'll target one person in the family. So I've actually been through that before, unfortunately. And hell yeah, it creates challenges if your family members are influencing, your significant others, and they're plotting, they're plotting and going behind saying it's not true. Champagne said, I feel it's his mother and family. Yeah, but you know what? Listen, Champagne, I think that if you have that kind of situation, you have to live your life and do you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, honestly, we cannot ever make it seem like a man is the most important thing in your life, because unfortunately they can't be. You know what I'm saying? You gotta, I mean, there's so many other things that people were meant to do in life, and it hurts, it sucks, you know, but if he allows you to go through that, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, you know, if he really wanted to be with you, he would not care about what his family says about you. Yeah, you know what, Tia? A lot of women have problems with that with their mothers. And so at the age of 38 to 39, I'm sorry, I've gotten smarter. And well, I knew 3 years ago that I was not trying to introduce anybody, um, you know, to my family, at least not right away. That's something that comes 6 months to a year to 2 years into the relationship. So you got to have time. Yeah, everybody's family talks about them. Everybody has sat there and done that, but you got to have time to bond. There's no bonding period, you know, and that's why I didn't want to introduce anybody to my family, because, you know, all of a sudden they want to not only tell about stuff that's true about you that's embarrassing, but they make up stuff that's not true, that's embarrassing. And so, you know, I don't, like, for me, it's kind of like, well, you know, I think that this is what I think. I think that if somebody does that, I would want to find out what is so special about that person. You know that, Tia? If somebody's trying to just break a person up, break a person up, break a person up, that actually can have an opposite effect. You know what I'm saying? It actually can bring two people together more so. But I think that people should just try to, um, I don't even know what to say about that. I will tell you that you can do the reunion spells to get back together. But if a person has issues and problems in their family, now, first of all, this is what I want to tell you. When you get to be 25, 26, 28, 29, 30, 34, 35, 40, like, you should be not hanging around your cousins and your, you know, sisters and brothers and shit like that. You should be living your own life. See what I'm saying? If everybody would just live their own life, we would be okay. But these people in their, you know, 30s and 40s that are really childish, and they just, that's all they do is kick it with their family. But I think that under a normal circumstance, you know, and the best thing for you to do is when you, and I don't think you should be pressured to get married at the age of 20, but we all know that women that have abusive families, they tend to get married early. And sometimes those marriages don't work out because, you know, they just had to leave home. You know, they just got into the marriage to get away from, you know, abusive, to get away from abuse or get away from bullshit. It's better for you to, you know, have a stable relationship with someone instead of, you know, always hanging around your family. I'll say, okay, yeah, your mother, that's different. You know what I'm saying? Now, if your mother ain't right, she just ain't right. You got to keep her away from your relationships. And I think that if you have to keep your mother away from your relationship, Champagne, you know, or if he has to, or you, Tia, you know, with your mother doing that to you, I think that it's obvious that, you know, and it doesn't make you a bad person. You have the right to have your relationship. You have the right to, you know, have somebody in your life. Ooh, Tia said, I think I have to leave the country to get away from my mother. Girl, I have thought the same thing. I have thought the same exact thing. You need to come and get a reading. I don't think I've done a reading for you yet. I would love to look into that for you because trust me, I'm going through the same exact thing. And it's not necessarily just, it's really just family, period. You know, they can really, really be toxic, especially if they feel some kind of way or they feel some kind of judgment, you know, for the person that you're dealing with. You know, they will do that. You know, I think that's a good choice is to leave the country. Take me with you when you go. When you go, you need to call me up, girl. I'll go with you for real. I'm so ready to get away from that. It's not, and you know what, Tia? It's this country that has done that to your mother. I hate to say it. You know what I'm saying? Like for people to actually do that. And you know what? It would be so much better if, you know, especially in all communities, for people to have normal relationships with people that are stable. Obviously, alcoholism is not good. You know, when you get a little bit older, when you get out of your 20s, when you get up into your upper 30s, you start to think about your health, right? Some people don't. You know, you start to think about your health. You start to think, you know, I can't be out drinking, acting a fool. You know, when you have kids, that's it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you can't have a life or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But your life is supposed to change with kids. And trust me, I was very adaptable to that change. I loved just being with my children. And I never felt the need to be all out there like that. Like I've went to clubs. Hell, I've even went to the strip club before. I mean, those are experiences that you're supposed to have as a youngster, but when you get older, you know, you tend to get settled. Like me, I don't like a bunch of noise. I don't want a bunch of people yelling and screaming. You know, I don't even want to go see a boxing match. I just, you know, I would rather just kind of do the family thing. I am very family oriented. So, you know, and I just think that if your relationship has been spiritually cursed, I think that first of all, God is who brings people together. So I think that, you know, prayer definitely works for you to just pray for wanting to get back with that person. But I think that sometimes there's more challenges, and spell work is basically like prayer times 20. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot more powerful, in my opinion, than just praying, because a lot of times a lot of people feel that prayer doesn't work. I feel that prayer works. Of course, I'm a spiritualist. Of course, I feel that prayer works. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think that people can pray for people, you know, I want this person to die because I don't want to see them with this person, or I want this person to get killed. No, that, you know, I just, you know, I think that in my opinion, the universe is fair. Don't y'all agree? I think the universe is very, very fair. So, you know, in all fairness, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, you can feel that demonic influence. I don't know, how do you save a relationship like that? I think that sometimes if somebody has cursed your relationship, you're going to have to do some kind of exorcism. I have to do some kind of cleanse or something. You know what I'm saying? To get rid of that negative energy. So I think that you can also, I think that when you do love somebody, when you truly do love somebody, eventually you're going to calm down and you're going to realize that you were under that demonic influence, and you're probably going to want to speak to that person again. You know, or you're probably going to want to get back with that person. But I think that it needs to be a lot of conversation about, I don't know. I've seen some people, y'all remember that movie, How Do You Lose a Guy in 10 Days? And it was so funny because they were like dating for less than a week and they were already in couples counseling. That shit was hilarious. That movie was so funny. Love that movie. So I think that you can fix it. I think you can fix it, definitely. you know, but I think that you have to, like right now, if you wanted to get back with somebody, the new moon would be good. Because you would actually see it manifest probably either close to the new moon um, or either shortly before that. I think we're probably like maybe a couple of weeks, or let me see, what's today? Today's the 12th. Yep. So we're about 11 days from the new moon. So you can actually, you know, pray for a new beginning in your relationship and stuff like that. You can do that. Here's the thing. I've actually said here, it was so cute. And you know you have a connection with somebody when you think about them, and you know what I'm saying, and you think about that person. It's a telepathic connection. Some of us have telepathic connections with people. You can feel everything that they're doing. Like you can, like from the time you wake up in the morning, you can feel them. You can feel that they're, you know, sort of not doing well. So like for me, I can tell when somebody that all of my loved ones, I can tell you what's going on with them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to tell their business, but I can tell you exactly what's going on with them because I can feel them. So, I think you have to remove the bad element from your relationship if it keeps getting messed up. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, you'll just lose that person. Don't want to actually lose that person. You know what I'm saying? You don't really want to know what life would be like without them because I'm telling you, it can be difficult. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. I miss De Niro a lot. He made things so much easier for me. Even though it looked like it was hard, like y'all have no idea how much easy he made things for me. You know, just his energy, you know, even when it's toxic, even when he's ill. But I think that the bad energy has got to go out of that kind of situation when it's been cursed like that. Like you, honestly, I think that love is stronger than a spiritual curse. That's what I think. I think that if you truly love that person, you know, nobody can break you up forever, at least. You know, but at some point, you got to realize what they're doing. You got to realize that it is a result of a curse that you're going through this. And why you're angry with that person, you know, why you're upset with that person is because somebody is actually manipulating you. And for me, I can tell the influence is kind of hard when you start to think about it because your ego kicks in and it's kind of difficult. You know, ego is really difficult because your ego has nothing to do with your relationship. Relationships have nothing to do with ego. You have to let go of the ego, especially the super ego. Like, okay, it's okay for you to have self-esteem, but to literally be egotistical is, I think that's where that comes from, because I feel like everybody makes mistakes in relationships. Maybe somebody might say something to you that you don't like. You know, maybe they may act a fool or something, but they're not actually, like, I just don't think that it has to be over forever, even though it can feel like it at that time. And people will be like, oh yeah, this is over for them forever. But then you see that they get back together. So when you truly love somebody, and when a person loves you, they are going to get back with you. But I do want to say this though. I think that there is, you know, I think that people have to, spiritual curses can make it hard for you to show love. Can make it hard for you to show love. And you know what is so weird? I'm going to say this to you guys before I go, because I have cleared out a lot of these curses and stuff, believe it or not. It was so weird. It just, every time I would get a phone call from somebody, my voice would just instantly become hoarse. So he wasn't able to hear me. It's so weird. You know, I probably need to go and talk to a spiritual worker about this, but I am one. So I just noticed that whenever certain people would call me, like my voice would just get really husky and it was just like, what the hell? Like my voice would be perfectly normal. And then as soon as the phone rang, it's just like my voice would just, so, voice is very important. That voice recognition is really important in relationships, like a person's voice. That honestly, that is like, that's why I want to talk about my theory about the eighth chakra, like being your ear. I think your ears are so freaking important. And that movie Love Potion #9, like literally it was this, there's, it's the voice, that voice. I don't know what it is. I'm going to do more research on it so that I can come back to you guys, because I understand he's a good looking man, but Jamila right now, he with the silly lot, LOL, but someday he come back to you and realize what a mistake he made. Yeah, I know. And I don't know, like I just felt, I was just really hurting a lot. And I've been hurting for the past 2 years. And there's no need for anybody to be in pain. Literally nothing has happened. Um, I understand that people cry at weddings, but damn, when you see people crying at weddings, sometimes they crying because, especially parents, because, they know that they losing their child. So that can be really difficult. You know what I'm saying? I know for a fact that there's a lot of parents out there, they don't ever want their kids to get married, but that's the best thing for your child. Gives them the chance to have two incomes in the home. And then that way people are not having to depend on, social service programs. It just makes sense to me. Instead of fighting, it's like a resistance or something. And I do believe that it has something to do, especially with Champagne. I don't know what your race is, but I do feel like there's other races that have went through slavery that we don't ever talk about. So I think that it is kind of like a post-traumatic disorder that people are experiencing. Oh, you're Hispanic. Okay. Well, you know what? Hispanic people for a very long time have been considered to be black. They have been trying to like they've been Hispanic people have been trying to more so be white. And I think that's weird because, Hispanic people can be very, very dark. Their skin complexion can range from, very, very light to very, very dark. So they actually have the same problems, similar problems in the Hispanic community. I don't know if y'all realize, but even in India, even in Africa, even in I don't want to say China, because it seems like they're all lighter skin, but in different cultures, not just America, in different countries, darker skinned people are, for some reason, and it bothers me. It bothers the hell out of me. And so there is a struggle that exists within that, because it used to be a time when we were not allowed to get married. And the reason why we were not allowed to get married, Hispanic people too, is because when you get married, that marriage the marriage forms a bubble. I'm light skinned as baby mama white. I feel it was an issue with me. Oh. Well, I will tell you this, that, it's, I would never ever discourage my children from getting married. I think that it's been discouraged heavily. It has been. So it sounds like to me that your mom is sort of like, or his mom, or whoever it is, they're sort of kind of being discouraging about or disparaging about whatever the relationship is. But you know what, Champagne, only thing I can tell you is to find someone that loves you. You know, at the end of the day, you know, it's convenient for him to blame his mother. But if he really wants to be with you, he'll straighten up and he'll be with you. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that people should just up and do love spells and stuff on people like that. You know what I'm saying? Don't do it. If a person doesn't want to be with you, if it's too difficult or hard for them to be with you, find somebody that is going to cherish and value you and love you. You know what I'm saying? You say, yes, my voice and ears always playing up. What you mean by that? Do you mean that you're, yeah, I think that there is a time where you have to let go. Okay. Even though it seems difficult, you have to. Okay. Because first of all, you can't force a person to be with you or want you. Okay. That's just, you know, and a lot of times you know, and I explain it to people. When I do reunion spell work to bring you back together, I am actually working with the love that you had previously. So those energies have to be returned. You know what I'm saying? So that's why when I do those kind of love spells, you start to reminisce on the person. You start to think about them right before you do right before you actually get back together. So for me, I prefer stable relationships personally, because I know that being in a stable relationship, it makes your life more stable. I really have a feeling it's not just normal influence. I really think it was a good versus evil type of situation, maybe. It probably was, you know, but I don't want to just tell you to let it go. You know what I'm saying? And you know, when you had contacted me, I even suggested that you get a reading. So I think that you should get one just to see how he feels about you. But feelings versus reality, like feelings for somebody, feelings is not going to take you very far. I mean, a person can have feelings for you, but that doesn't mean that they're going to actually play out those feelings, you know? So it's like, I'll look at a person's feelings for a person. Like sometimes I'll throw a spread for people when they ask about a certain relationship, and I'll see that it's going to be difficulty. I can see that they're going through difficulty, current, past, maybe not in the past, but more so it's kind of 50-50 in the future. And I will look at how does that person feel about you. And 9 times out of 10, you know what? It's only been a very few, to be honest with you. Okay. It's only been a very few that I have done readings for that a person is actually not with somebody that they're in love with. People are typically with the person that they're in love with. Seriously. So nobody just kind of sits there. And so a lot of people will sort of be confused, and they'll be like, well, even though he's not with me, I know that he really, really, really wants to be, but he's not. See what I'm saying? Really, your ears get blocked off and you lose your voice, and it's been happening lately? Wow. Yeah. That's interesting. Okay. So that you should, you know, like I'll ask women when they come in and get readings, I'll be like, you know, well, you know, did you ask him how he felt? You know, and it's kind of like, well, no, I didn't ask him. So I think that you should. I think you should ask a person how they feel about you. It'll save you. It'll save you some heartache and turmoil. But I'll see sometimes in the card where a man will have feelings for you, but there will be some sort of issue or situation. Typically with men, it's financial. Okay. Wow. Finances are very important for men. Now, there's a lot of men that do not mind being with a woman that makes money because, you know, they know that you know, that helps them too. You know, the more the merrier. So I think that a lot of men that, you know, a lot of times that's creating difficulty. The financial problem, you know, finances is one of the most, it's the number one reason for divorce is financial problems. And that's really a shame. You say yes, it's always about money with men. Yep. Yep. You know, the ones that are some of them, you know what, some of them are not like that though, you know, but it's almost like, why can't we have it all? Why do we have to either be in love and have nothing? You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, be together and have everything, but not actually have no love between us. See, I think that's what a lot of people are doing. It's like they choose one over the other. So for me, I want it all. You know what I'm saying? I don't just want to be financially secure, but I also want to be in love. I want to be happy. And I think that you have to want that. You know, a lot of people don't want that. A lot of people are okay with, you know, just doing whatever they're doing. But I mean, when you're still young, you know, and I feel like I'm still young. I've had people tell me, oh, you're so old and this and that. And it's like, no, I still feel pretty young here. I still feel pretty good here, you know? So, and then also, you know, people not wanting to be with people their age. That's a big challenge. Either somebody want now. This is my whole thing. I don't just go out there and purposefully look for younger men. Okay, so I'm just letting you guys know. Like I've always had somebody either my age or older. But it does happen. It does happen that you just so happen to might meet somebody that you have a connection with, you know, that's younger. But for somebody to just purposely go out there and I just want somebody younger, just it's kind of like, well, I think that when you go out there and you look for something specific like that, based upon societal standards, then you're missing the person's soul. You know, you're not really getting them. You're judging the book by the cover. And I don't believe in doing that. I believe in, now I will tell you that there's certain signs. Okay. There's certain signs you want a husband or a man, and so do men. You know, men become, you know, stuff can happen to men to where they need their woman to, you know, take care of them. It happens. So on both sides, but I think that there's certain signs that you can look out for. For me, it's if a person is not doing nothing, you know, that bothers me. I can't be in a relationship with somebody that's just not doing anything, that, you know, doesn't have that, you know, get up and go attitude. That's not a go-getter. You know, those are the type of people that I like to deal with, period, you know, especially in a relationship. So, you know, if a person is a certain age and they're not even trying to get it, like there's a lot of people who say, well, if you so-and-so age and you ain't got it by now, then, and it's kind of like, no, at least, you know, you want to see that somebody's trying to get it, you know, they're trying to build that. And I think a lot of people or a decade behind, you know, people been sleeping for like the past 10 years. I think people are just into sleeper mode, you know. I am older than you. I'm 41 this year. Oh, cool. Cool. I'm glad somebody's older than me, Tia, because they make it look like, oh, you just so old. It's like, well, I guess I don't feel old. Like I feel like I'm about 25. So I think that's pretty good for me to feel 25, even though I'm 39, I can still give birth. You know, you don't like, I don't know. And then I noticed that it was so weird. It was kind of like, it's kind of weird, you know, because I think that women get like way more exciting the older than that they get. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like wine that ages and it gets better. So I guess it would just depend. Some women get older and they turn into vinegar, and some women get older and they turn into sweet. You know, they turn sweeter. So I don't think that anybody should just let somebody take advantage of them, though. You know, just completely, you know, kind of twist your love and all of that. And that is a curse. It's a curse on your relationship. Yep. And it's not necessarily about reversing breakup spells, because you can reverse breakup spells, But some people just curse your relationship, period. Like you're still with that person, but the relationship is under a demonic curse. So thank you for bringing that up, actually, Champagne, because I think that if you are in a relationship with somebody and you're having a hard time and you can't let that person go, you know what I'm saying? Like you can't see your life without that person. And it's obvious that they're not going to let go of you. I feel like that's a direct indication that your relationship is cursed. You're welcome. And I'm going to go, guys, because it's 2 a.m. I still got to put my sheet and my blanket in the dryer. So I'm going to go. If you guys want any kind of relationship counseling, I'm here for you, especially if you're trying to get back together with a person. Because I think that you have to explore the relationship and see what it was that broke you up in the first place. Or if you're having a really difficult relationship with somebody could have possibly cursed your relationship. And you got to have spiritual protection. Okay? You have to have spiritual protection for your relationship. And I think that that's supposed to be marriage. Marriage was supposed to be protecting of, that's supposed to be protection. That's just why they say what God is brought together, no man can tear asunder. That's the whole point. So anyway, I got to go. You guys have a good evening. Happy Monday. And if you have any questions directly, if you are experiencing issues in your relationship, I can definitely help you guys with that. So I appreciate you requesting this video, Champagne. And I'll see you guys later. All right. Peace and love. Namaste.